Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Chinenye. If this is your first time in my YouTube page, you're highly welcome. On this beautiful morning, I'm here to share with you guys some really wonderful books that I read in 2024 that did the magic for me. Yes, those books did the magic for me. I don't know what 2024 would have been like if this book never came my way, if I never dared to read this book. There were so many things that I learned that if I had not read this book, maybe by now I'll still be suffering from the fact that I lack this knowledge. Do you get? So this book really transformed my life. This book really helped me to have one of the most easiest 2024. And I'm here to share some of them with you. So if you are a book lover or you want to pick up reading as a habit in 2025, you're at the right place because I myself am a book lover. I love to read. I love to read a lot. I love to read self-help book, mental health book, relationship book, growth book, everything that ensures that I live a wonderful, amazing life. These are the kind of books that I love to read. So in 2024, I think in January or February, I decided I was going to read because at that time I was not a fast reader. I did not even know how to read that much. I was mostly reading my academic book because I'm in university. So I read mostly my academic books. But then I decided that I was going to inculcate other types of books into my reading plan. I was not only going to be reading my medical books because I come to realize that it's not everything you are going to find in your academic books. So why not seek for knowledge outside of your field of study? You get, so that was what I did. And I decided I was going to read. It doesn't matter if it took me 3 months to finish one book. If it doesn't matter if it took me 1 week or 1 month. All I know was that I was going to read something. I was going to invest in my knowledge. I was going to invest in my brain, you know, and that was where the magic lied for me. Okay, so I read this book. The first book that I read was Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Now, this book, because I didn't even know what to read at that time because I was just scrolling through one of the websites where I used to download my books, my soft copies, my books soft copies, and I came out, although I've read a book by Elizabeth Gilbert in the past, but then, so when I saw that book, Eat, Pray, Love, by the same woman, I was like, okay, because the first book I read by her was wonderful. So I was like, okay, this one too is going to be worth the time. I started to read Eat, Pray, Love, and I came to fall in love with this book. Eat, Pray, Love is a masterpiece. Eat, Pray, Love is a wonderful book. I love how this woman was able to tell her story, how vulnerable she was enough to share her story with the world. Like, it was so inspirational. And I came to learn a lot. I came to understand that, okay, whatever you are going through, you are not alone, and it is possible to actually come out of whatever phase of life you are actually facing. And it is also very important to also share your story because you do not know who you would inspire by just sharing your story or by just reaching out to somebody or reaching out, putting it down in paper and sharing it for everybody to see, or even just documenting your life because you don't even know where it's going to take you. So I love the fact that in this book, Elizabeth Gilbert talked about her. This was a time in her life whereby she was going through a lot, her divorce and also relationship issues, with her husband, and also how she decided, okay, she was going to go on a self retreat, from Italy to eat, India to pray, and then in Bali where she found love, and that was where she loved. It's so beautiful. Honestly, I was like I could not stop reading this book. I was reading it. In fact, I said, okay, I was going to read, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, but I found out I was reading it 1 hour, 2 hours a day. Because this book, the more you read it, the more you want to read. You want to like just find out what is happening, what has like it just so it will just keep you going, like you can't even stop. So I love how Elizabeth Gilbert talked about she was so vulnerable to share all her experiences in America before she decided that she was going to go to Italy. And when she went to Italy, she had fun, she enjoyed, she tried. In Italy, that was the place whereby, that was the place where she was able to like, okay, like unwind a little bit from all the chaos she was having, she had in America. And then she ate, she met new people, and she kind of like thought about her life and where she was going to go from that place forward. That was such a beautiful, wonderful book. And let me tell you one thing. If there is one reason why I want to visit Italy, it's because I read Eat, Pray, Love. First of all, I've always loved Italy. I love the fact, I love Italy. I love Italy. I really wanted to visit Italy. But then I got my confirmation when I read that book. Man, as a foodie, I love how she talked about all the food she ate there, all the pasta she ate there, the ice cream and everything. Man, bucket list. So it's there. Okay, so yeah. So if there's one reason why I want to visit Italy today is because of what Elizabeth Gilbert talked about Italy. Italy is so wonderful. From the picture she painted in that book, man, it's one place that I want to visit. Now, secondly, she traveled to India where she went to connect with God, with her God, connect with God, connect with to like cool off, to pray. And it was a wonderful one. Honestly, when I was reading that book, I so much enjoyed all the Italy parts, the part where she talked about Italy. But honestly, when I was reading the Indian part, where the part where she was narrating her life in India, or I really did not like that part. Honestly, it's not like it was not interesting, but then it was so, the vibe was too low. It was too painful, like something like that. I did not really like that part. It was not as interesting for me as I enjoyed reading the part where she just talked about Italy. But then I tried to read it because I knew that the part where she talked about living in Bali was going to be interesting. So I just kind of like just flowed and just read through until I finished. So here in India, she prayed. Then she went to Bali, where she met with the medicine man, met with the woman and her daughter that had a restaurant where she would usually go every single day to discuss with them and to eat. And that was where she met them and became friends with them. And before a lot of things happened, then she met her lover, which eventually they are together. So it's such a beautiful story. In this book, I love how Elizabeth Gilbert went from being a very soulful woman to eventually finding love at last. So it was so beautiful how she found love at last, how she um, finally felt calm in her life in Bali. So that was so beautiful. It had a very happy ending. It had a very beautiful ending, and I did not regret any single moment reading that book called Eat, Pray, Love. Now, secondly, the second book that I read was Big Magic. Big Magic. Well, like I said, I've read a book by Elizabeth Gilbert in the past, which is Big Magic, but I had to read it again because man, when I read that It's Pray Love, I was like, okay, let me go and read this woman book again because that book was so powerful. But It's Pray Love is a book for creative. If you're a creative, or if you feel that okay, you are supposed to be a creative, or you're struggling with inspiration, struggling with putting out your creativity out to the world to see. This is one perfect book for creative because it will help you to understand how inspiration works. Like for example, this book will let you know that okay, for that little inspiration you get in your head, it's not just a coincidence. It's not just there. It didn't just come into your head. It's just not something you should neglect. It's something that came to you specifically because it wants you to bet it. Most times we get an idea and we'll be like, we don't take it serious. But when I read this book, I got to realize that most of those ideas that I get, okay, Chine, talk about this video, for example, share a video about this experience you have, or create this ebook, or do this or do that. These are not just mere coincidence. This is God bringing you an idea that you should bet. Now, what happens if you do not, if you ignore this thought, it is going to move to the next person. In fact, I don't want to tell you everything. Just go and read that book, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Thirdly, I read this book, Getting to I Do. Okay, so I love this book so much. It was when I read a book by Jane Sincero called You Are a Badass that I think where she at the later part of the book, at the ending, she listed some books that she read that helped her. So I went there to like just look for something to read. So I saw that getting to I do, and I started to read it. So this is a relationship book. So if you're a girl, if you've been struggling with your relationships with men, or if you've been um, being at the losing end, or if things have not been working with you, or if you don't know how men think or how they feel with women, this is one book you should read. Getting to I Do. It's one wonderful book for you if you are looking forward to having a serious, meaningful relationship with men. If you're looking forward to be respected or to be treated right and cherished, if you're looking forward to understanding how men think and working in alignment with that so that you can get the best out of a relationship with men, this is one book you should read. Getting to I Do. I think I've forgotten the name of the author, but I'm going to put him in on the screen for you to go and download or to buy. Now, fourthly, this wonderful book, which I started to read it November 5th, and I finished reading it on December 15th. This book is a masterpiece. Brene Brown, you did a thing in Daring Greatly. Daring Greatly by Brene Brown is a wonderful book on vulnerability, shame. You know, okay, before I read this book, I was struggling with some things about some things with vulnerability, of being vulnerable, shame. I was trying to like hide some of the things I was going through, not just hiding it to others, but hiding it to myself. I was trying to like ignore them. I was trying to act as if nothing was happening, whereas something was happening deep down, you know. But when I read this book, I got to realize that okay, it's actually okay, Chinenye, for you to actually experience anything. You are not alone, and do not ignore them, feel them, and be vulnerable enough to allow these things for you to feel it. Do not be ashamed. Like this is a very wonderful book on shame and vulnerability. Most of us run away from books on vulnerability because we feel like vulnerability is not something we want to do. But I want to bet you, and I want to promise you that your life will be way, 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 way more easier if you are vulnerable. Because every single day of our life require us to be vulnerable. Is it falling in love? Is it finding a new job? Is it being a creative? Is it talking to your parents? Is it sharing something that means so much to you in your heart? Is it even your relationship with God? Every single thing requires you to be vulnerable. So if you run away from vulnerability, I feel like you are just um, deciding to live a soulful life. You're just deciding to live a one way kind of life. You're not going to experience life in its entirety because you are always trying to take control. You're always trying to, okay, it seems like I'm spilling everything right here, but I want to tell you that do not run away from vulnerability. Go and read Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. Thank you so much, Brene Brown, for sharing that wonderful book with us. And this book was such a healer for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sharing that book. Yeah, these are, I think in 2024, I read only four books, but I'm so proud that I read these four books. Now, this is 2025 we're about to go into, and I'm so ready by the special grace of God to read so many more books, equip myself with as much knowledge as possible. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, please comment, and please recommend books for me to read so that I can share them with you. And also, by you commenting books, recommending books on the comment section, you're also recommending to other people to read as well. Because most times, like for me, like personally, I usually find it difficult to come up with to discover a book to read. I have to start asking my friends to recommend me a book. So please recommend in the comment section. What do you want us to read? What do you want me to read? What do you want to read? Or what are you reading? Or what have you read that has done the absolute magic for you? Please share in the comment section. I'm so excited for you guys. Thank you for staying with me in 2024. God bless you.